Hi, loves. I have a social story today on the topic of big feelings. You know how often we ask, is this a big deal or a little deal? And sometimes a little deal can feel really big to us personally, right? And we have big feelings that go along with it. That's really normal. It happens to all of us. All of us have big feelings at times, right? Especially right now, when we've been home for so long and we haven't seen our friends in so long, and some of us haven't seen family members in so long. Yeah, so it kind of makes our big feelings a little easier to access or a little bit more on the surface, right? That means when your feelings are on the surface, it means sometimes something little can happen and you're already at the tipping point and some little thing happens and it tips you right over and you have a big reaction to something that might not be that big. Normal, normal, normal. So I wrote a social story about what we do about that, communicating our feelings. When we have these big feelings, one of the most important things we can do is talk to somebody we love. Talking it out or sometimes writing it down can make us feel so much better. So here's my story. It's called Communicating Our Feelings by Mrs. Selman. Communicating Our Feelings by Mrs. Selman. Let's look at cell number 1, right here. All of us have feelings. Some of these feelings are big and comfortable. We like the big, comfortable feelings, right? Some feelings are big and uncomfortable. So we could be so happy and full of joy and we're giggling and laughing and we can't contain our body. We're so happy. That feels good, right? But some of the big feelings that are uncomfortable, they don't feel good and sometimes they spill out of our eyes, right? Like tears, like they just spill right out. Or sometimes we say things or yell or cry, and that's okay. So let's look at this. Here's a feeling, calm, relaxed, and peaceful. That feels really good. Look at this one, unsure, worried, uncomfortable. That doesn't feel so good. I even wrote the word uncomfortable. How about this guy, angry or frustrated? That happens to everybody, including me. And this one, scared. You could be scared about something. Do you know what I was scared about yesterday? We had a big, big thunderstorm in our area. I think you had it too. I live in Bluebell, but most of you live in Havertown or Ardmore, and I think we had the same scary storm. So I was really uncomfortable about that. I was super uncomfortable. And so I had to say, Mr. Selman, I'm really nervous right now. I'm really scared. What should we do? So we stood in the middle of the house where you're supposed to stand when there's a big scary storm in case of any kind of wind or tree damage, right? And it did pass. Thankfully, it passed. But when we're scared, the point is, or upset, talk it out. Talk to somebody who loves you. Talk to somebody that is nearby. Let's look at cell number 2. Here's cell number 2. When we feel big, uncomfortable feelings, we can take care of ourselves by talking to our family. So look at his face. Look at this guy. You can tell he's really unhappy. We don't know what he's unhappy about, but he thinks in his thought bubble, I'm so worried. I don't know what to do. Maybe that was one of you during the storm yesterday. I'm so worried about the storm and I don't know what to do. Here's what we do. Take a deep breath. Remember about our deep breaths. Tell your family. Talk to somebody in your family that you love and who loves you. Use a clear voice. Do you know what I mean by that? What I mean by using a clear voice is by trying to use your breath to keep your body calm and then saying in a clear way. Say you're a 4th grader. You want to speak in a 4th grade voice. Say you're a 1st grader. You want to speak in a 1st grade voice. We wouldn't use baby talk. We wouldn't say, I'm really, really scared. We wouldn't do that. We might feel like that, but we would say, I'm really scared right now. I'm really scared. And that's okay. But we use our clear, calm voice so that other people understand what's wrong. Let's look at the last thing I wrote. I wrote breathe 2 times. Why do you think I wrote that? Look, it's number 1 and it's number 4. Number 1, take a deep breath. Number 4, remember to breathe. Why did I write that 2 times? Because it is that important. When we control our breathing and that vagus nerve that's in the center of our chest, it keeps our bodies calmer. Let's look at cell number 3. All of our feelings are okay. Every single feeling we have is okay. We can feel all of the feelings and we can have a good cry. We can let it out. That's okay. It's okay to do that. It's okay to cry and let it out. So look, this might be a boy and his mom. It might be a boy and his grandmom. It might be a boy and his sister. I don't know. And he's thinking some thoughts. I talk it out. I use clear words and my clear voice. My family loves me. And look, if this is the mom or sister, she might be thinking, I can listen. And she might be thinking, we can problem solve. We can problem solve together. Let's look at cell number 4. Even when we have big feelings, we can communicate clearly to others so that others understand and can help us, right? So here's what he says. He's got his hands on his hips. He's feeling kind of proud. And he says, I've got this. I communicate clearly. And he says over here, my feelings are okay to feel. Oh, yes, they are. All the feelings are okay to feel. We have the feelings because we're supposed to have these feelings. Our feelings help us know what to do next. And here, my family helps me. Yeah. So when we're upset, the best thing we can do is talk it out. And I want to tell you something that I shared with some of my students. I think it was during the Google Meet last week. We talked about having a feelings box. And a feelings box is a kind of cool idea that's like having a journal or a diary. Do any of you have a journal or a diary you like to write in? I do. I have a journal and I like to write special things in there so that I always remember those special things. But I also write in my journal sometimes when I feel upset and I need to let it out. I use it for that too. But let's get back to the feelings box. So I was thinking, if you wanted to make a feelings box, you could make one out of a tissue box, a shoe box, or any box you have around the house that is about the right size. I'm thinking about this, but it doesn't have to be that. It could be any size you want. So here's what you do. You decorate it, you make it super special and super personal for you. It's all about you and your feelings. And then each time you have a big feeling or something you want to share, but maybe you're not ready to talk about it, you write it down on a piece of paper. Fold it all up. Put it in the box. And you know what? Even just that makes people feel better because you've taken the big feeling out of your body and put it in the box. Then the cool thing you can do too is share that box with your family or one person in your family who might problem solve with you. It feels good to have people that understand what you're thinking and feeling, right? It really does feel good to share that kind of thing. Okay, so that's all I have about communicating our feelings. That's an ongoing thing. Do you know that this is important for little children, middle-sized children, big children, and adults? Yes. Communicating feelings and thoughts is a super important social skill, and you will use it for your whole life. So let's get good at it now. All right, my little friends. I miss you, and summer's almost here. Can you believe that? Summer's almost here. I cannot believe it. All right. Get outside, get some exercise, wash your hands, talk about your feelings. Bye, everybody.